Mirrors and Dreams, Book 2 of the Unseen Scar series, written and narrated by C.R. Saxon. Chapter 23. Of the remaining 2 articles, one of the chemicals was significantly different, but so were the primary symptoms it treated. It was the secondary ones Ferdinan needed. This won't work. Every time he thought this, warmth blanketed him, begging him to try anyway. A completely different chemical. The first one didn't do anything, so maybe? At least fatigue wasn't a listed side effect. Heaving a sigh, Ferdinan picked up the container and watched the contents slosh around. They're completely different. Why am I wasting my time? Why? When I should swim out past my island now. His body was still recovering from the detox, so he wouldn't have to swim long. A peaceful death after what you did to your victims? You're right. Death couldn't be peaceful. Neither could it inconvenience anyone, particularly his prince. Warmth flooded over him as if trying to wash those thoughts away, but he wished it'd stop. Death was the least he deserved. Blue crystals closed. One idea after another played out in his head. No one kept tabs on him over the break. Rarely was he called home. And after the last break, why would they want him back? Hack the boat's systems and check myself in. Then camp on his little island until it was time to check himself off. That's all. A whole month before anyone would realize he wasn't there. They'd think I'd ran away. I wouldn't destroy my family, country. Everyone would assume I selfishly rejected my responsibilities. That's all. Done. No one would miss him. At most, he'd be forgotten in a few weeks, more likely a day or 2, if they even realized he was gone. Thick arms wrapped around himself, providing little warmth. That's what I'll do. It'll work. Why bother with this? Don't give up. A hollow laugh left him. Empty blue crystals stared at the morning's dose. I have to wait till break. Maybe this will make the time a blur. Not thinking. It sounded wonderful. Camping with you will be interesting. No more. I can't do this anymore. 8 million deaths. His prince, Yu and Elby, his people, his family. There was a limit. I have to end this now before I destroy what's left. Syringe in hand, Ferdinan sucked up most of the liquid. He knew just where to inject it. The voice laughed, calling him weak, mocking him for choosing an easy death over what he'd deserved. Please, don't. His jaw ached, his heart raced, and his hand shook. For long seconds he stood there, trying to move forward, trying to move back, trying. The entire time the voice mocked him. Please. Ferdinan sat, hand over his mouth, shaking. He divided the medicine into servings, and took a dose. A familiar ceiling filled his view. Reaching up, Zephyr slapped himself just to see if he could. The sharp pain was a huge relief. It's over. He was free, and he hated himself. I'm a monster. I did those things? No, it's just another series of nightmares. I'm imprisoned in the palace again, the elf, those memories. I'm breaking. My mind's broken. Sitting up, the world blurred. But it's not. Golden hands covered his mouth as he choked back sobs. I'm a monster. Wait. That terrified servant girl. I hit her. Ice crawled down his spine when he stood, freezing him. Breathing was a struggle. Dark memories flashed through his mind, suffocating him. No, don't think about that. If only he could change the past. What do I tell Aunt Tenalia? Death flashed across his eyes and constricted his heart. Get away. Find anywhere else. Onyx's eyes searched for an escape, but he was already in his room. If this little sanctuary wasn't safe, there was no escaping those memories, his actions, this horrible thing choking out his life one strangled breath, one muted heartbeat at a time. Daggers tore at his chest. The dojos. Fight. Run. Anything. Swimming there was tempting, but a boat was faster. Training cries led him to an outdoor class, and the one he wanted to see. While Tenalia taught, he watched. This is a mistake. The longer he watched, the more he yearned to join. Tightness constricted his body. He wanted to scream. Stay in control. You're a future general. You must stay in control. When the students scattered, his breath quickened. Do you pine to teach so deeply? You'll fulfill the need vicariously. Tenalia smirked and approached the partially hidden prince. Zephyr's hands moved more sharply than he intended. Jumping in on that last round of exercises was tempting. Stepping closer, she hugged him. Want another beating? He squeezed her back, waiting for his throat to loosen. That sounds wonderful. Letting go, she looked him over. You seem healthy enough. How much pounding are you up for? No mercy. His smile said it was a joke, but he meant it honestly. She chuckled. Any particular style? You have to ask? Zephyr's hands danced in excitement. I do love a good dagger fight. Inside the main dojo, he grabbed his stored knife and gestured to a kanjali in the weapons rack, his second favorite. Your choice. Your preferred works fine. She reached behind and pulled out her kaiken. Ready? Leaping back, the prince put some space between them to deconstruct her strategy. She didn't give him the opportunity, though. Even as he retreated, she charged forward. Time slowed. The two of them moved in an impromptu dance. Attack, defend, attack. Every moment felt hindered by that tightness consuming him. Then, from somewhere, that odd music infecting the islands floated in, strike after strike until their movements flowed with the melody weaving around them. Then the tune changed, turning harsh and angry. Ah, how does a proper instrument make such a sound? The grating reverberations felt like the moments he'd blacked out. Uncontrollable rage formed into music. I can't take this anymore. Cold pierced his chest. That suffocating sensation leaked out of him. Time returned to normal. Looking down, his hand clutched hers, and hers held the dagger now sheathed inside him. Denalia's lips moved, but all he could hear was anger kicking and screaming around him. But that thing trying to burst through his skin was pacified. How poetic. It took still, pinning his lung in place, to finally breathe. It's open? Not just unlocked, but actually open. Gently knocking on the open door, Elby stuck his head inside. Hello? First it was unlocked. Now it was wide open and Master Ferdinan wasn't there. What's going on? Is he sick again? A throat cleared behind him, making Elby jump. Ah, sorry, Elby. Can you move? Stepping to the side, Elby watched John and Ferdinan carry in a large, heavy-looking box. What's that? Placing the box onto a cleared portion of floor, Ferdinan gave his pupil a worn-out smile. A commission. I apologize. There are still more pieces to get. I didn't realize I'd taken so long. Shiny black hair shook side to side. No, sir, I'm early. Ah, then please forgive my rudeness. Do you need any help? John laughed, making him jump again. Everything's bigger than you and weighs twice what Ferdinan does. The skeleton gave his ally an unappreciated glare and left. But if you could help with the doors, that'd be great. It wasn't much of a recovery, but John did his best. Smiling, Elby nodded and followed. It was nice seeing his mentor, both alert and bickering with Adenta. 3 trips later, and 20 minutes to chase John away, Ferdinan sat with his pupil, but the young boy's attention was on the boxes in the corner. Might as well use that to Elby's advantage. Ferdinan cleared his throat. Oh, I'm so sorry. Elby bowed in apology. You accomplished more than expected while I was gone. And out. Ferdinan blushed, pointing to the boxes. Let's see what you've learned. Huh? It's a prototype for an ARA. Why am I hungry? I finally overcame that. Elby cocked his head to the side. Aquatic robotic assembly? Correct. It's not working right. Standing, Ferdinan motioned Elby over to the boxes. This is only the assembly unit. The rest works fine, and is for testing as we fix it. We? Elby smiled and Ferdinan paused. I get to do outside work? Getting children's hopes up. If you want. Ferdinan smiled awkwardly. This is my commission. You're in no way expected to do anything with it. No, I want to. Elby beamed, reaching for the closest box. I thought I'd have to wait till I had my own lab. You can't work on it by yourself, but I'll devote half of your lesson to it, and up to 16 hours of your free time, if you so choose. If Elby was a less restrained child, he'd be jumping up and down. Thank you, but if I can't work on it alone, arrange time to work on it, and I'll adjust my schedule accordingly. Seeing his mentee's joy was indescribably wonderful. Thank you very much. Today's lesson is pointless. Grabbing a screen, Ferdinan loaded the schematics and handed it to Elby. We'll go over this during your next session. Feel free to ask any questions. Oh, yes, thank you. The glowing information held Elby's attention. Since I've lost you, you're dismissed to study. You prefer calm and quiet, right? I get a number of noisy intruders, and have a few large projects to work on. When does this need to be done by? Excited, mismatched eyes turned to him. It isn't time-sensitive, whenever it gets done. Pausing, Ferdinan blushed. This late in the block, I requested permission for your project to be year-long, but I need your proposal soon. Yes, sir. Thank you, Master Ferdinan. Elby gave a quick bow and all but skipped out of the room. I guess this hijacked his brain. Mentioning the final project was to give Elby a chance to show Ferdinan what he'd been trying for weeks to talk to him about. I'll ask directly next time. A minute later, an intruder wandered in. I've never seen him so excited before. He told me about the ARA. Shrugging, Ferdinan crossed the machine off his list of concerns. Elby could take the lead on it. How do I get John to go away? There was so much, but the lost histories called to him. Even if they didn't, reading through them was relaxing. Won't waiting on Elby be inconvenient for your employer? John pressed. Wasteful child. No. Ferdinan sighed and cleared his teaching materials from the table. I already figured out the problem and informed them. They didn't need the parts back. So, you have a broken assembly system taking up space? John raised an eyebrow. No, Ferdinan smirked. I have a teaching aid.